we are. Should go. There he is. It's about to go right now. Okay. It's gonna look like there's actually two and a half of us because I think your phone thing is gonna pop in too. Let's see what it looks like when it's live. Maybe I can actually, you know what I can do? I can hide
Hmm.
non-participants. Ooh, yes, I did do that.
Yes.
Perfect. It is official. Everyone, welcome to a flow session. I'm over here with Bird. How you doing, bro?
Yo, I'm excited, man. We're both on bouncy balls,
We
man. This
are.
is
We
gonna
we are here
be
on the bouncy
this is
balls.
gonna be this is gonna be good.
Not only are we going to flow together, we're going to bounce together. You know,
Yeah, dude. Are you still bouncing? Are you still going, man?
we're
You're
just
not
bouncing.
stopping. The
Yeah.
entire Flowcast, bro. We're gonna just bounce, man.
We just gotta let it bounce. Emotion is created by emotion, y'all. Stay getting into your
Ooh,
bodies is so nice. And so, what
ooh.
this is gonna be? What is this gonna be? I met Bird through our mutual friend Holly, and you're actually based in New York, right?
I am. I'm in New York City, in Manhattan, in the East Village, just chilling
Mm.
out.
LA to the
So it's cool to
NY.
be able to connect with you. It's cool to be able to connect with you in California because before all this, we would have been doing our own thing in our own cities, but now we're in a way forced to connect with humans in this way. So in a way, Gavin, quarantine brought us together, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, right. It is like that. That this we never probably would have been connected. Perhaps if it wasn't for the quarantine. So it's interesting just how situations you never know what can happen even amidst lockdown and a lot of shit that be going on, man. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Never know where the
Yes,
bouncy ball
that's exactly
goes.
how I would put it. What's that?
No, I say you never know where the bouncy ball is gonna go. Yeah. Yo.
Bro, we gotta
So
wrap. At some point, we gotta flow about the bouncy balls.
we're
That's
gonna have
gotta
to we're gonna
happen
flow.
at some
We're
point.
actually well, I should jump it in. You just want to jump in like that. All right. This is awesome. So Bird, he actually has a lot of experience with improv too, so he's pretty quick on his feet. We actually opened up and I said, "Hey, is there anything that you want to specifically talk about so I can take note?" He's like, "Ah, I'm good. I'm good. Like anything you go, let's just keep it organic." So this is be nice. This is going to be fun. We're also going to have moments where we're going to be able to get deep and we're going to keep this nice and three-dimensional. And so let's see, what do we got? Oh, you know what? I have to first share the sound right here, and we're gonna hop on. So anybody that wants to get engaged, say what's up, say where you're from. Feel free to press the like and even more the love. You welcome to show some love during this love lockdown. All right, I want to set the frame around this quarantine and lockdown that this could indeed be a love lockdown, and we're going to display it right now. All right.
Ooh, love
Okay.
lockdown.
Yeah. So let's see. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear the music?
Yeah, I heard it a little bit. Yeah, the beat hasn't come in yet, though, right?
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, now I hear it really well.
Okay, good. Why does it seem so?
Ooh,
Okay. Hey.
mm,
Okay. And so
mm,
I wanted to say I want here
mm.
I want to open this up. Let me put that in. There we go. And so Bird,
What's up?
I just wanted to
What's up,
open up
Gavin?
to ask you like, dude, how's this whole situation been for you, man? Being in quarantine, in a very densely populated area where it was kind of like ground zero in the US for a little bit. I'm like, how's it been?
Honestly, at first it was a bit existential, but now it feels a bit consequential in the
Mm,
sense that now it's become of me. I feel this glee coming out of me.
mm,
And I realize that really at the end of the day, it's all about peace. No matter what happens outside in the universe, outside of me, I can always stay connected to my peace. So I'd say, Gavin, that I've found just a lot of peace through all of this. In fact, being in New York City, where like you said, it was ground zero for a bit. Yeah, it was a little scary, and every time I coughed, I was like, "Do I have it? Oh
right,
God!"
right.
Ultimately, I just realized that, man, I'm grateful for this time that I have right now. I mean, I have so much. I live by myself, and I've got so much time just to do better. Like I'm taking care of my body more. I'm cooking more healthy. I'm just getting in tune with my inner self. Man, dude, I feel like I'm gonna be a better person after all this. And Yeah, I'm relaxed. I'm chill, man, and I'm taking it. My heart goes out to everyone who's suffering, of course, but personally, if I'm being honest, yeah, man, I'm grateful. How you taking this?
And well, I love that perspective that you have right there. Just coming out of quarantine better. It's something that's easy to give lip service to, and
Yeah.
yet to I don't know. I just felt that energy, like, yo, I'm really going to be using this as a time to really game up, and so it
Yeah,
just
bro.
goes to show like how adaptable we are. And it's already been a couple of months, man. I would say like the first few weeks was really tough for me because I just like being out and
Sure.
about. I like being a part of this co-working space that I joined a couple months prior. Was really starting to build dope connections over there. I had my groove, going to the gym and everything, and so like that was really, it was tough. I would just like
Yeah.
oscillate in all these different emotions, frustrated to sad to even like the lower part of sad. Like, man, what the fuck? Like, how am I gonna adapt to this? I have no idea how I'm
Yeah.
gonna. And then,
Yeah.
like I just said, the amazing thing about uh just adaptability, I found a groove. I started using Zoom more, and I just started finding new ways to stay connected. And although, like, I love physical touch and I love just like handshaking and hugging people and stuff. That's a really
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
really big, that's a really big missing for me. And it still is. I don't think anything's going to be able to fully replace it during this time. And it's just one of
Sure.
those temporary kind of like missings that I know is going to be soon to pass. But if I want to just get up into the flow right here and let you really know how it really can go, more recently I've been feeling a lot of passion because through this flow masters, it got me crashing into the depths of this love that be come inside of this mind, and I be knowing that I'm enough and I'm the one to be leading through the ship right here. So I
Woo!
could the ocean right here. You know something interesting? Before I would confine myself to think that I can't go to the beach because my aunties live below, but I actually went to the beach really responsibly today down the PCH.
Ooh.
And that shit was super dope, man. I was like 20 feet apart from everybody, but I laid my feet in the sand, and there's something about that grounding, man. When I just opened my arms out and I was power posing, looking about into the ocean. And I felt the breeze. It was overcast today, and I just fell to my knees, and I just felt so connected to that nature, man. And like in New York, I know it's like a concrete jungle too, so it's just man, it just reminds me that these memories of being in a Joshua tree, and just because there's no artificial lighting that obstructs the sky, that you can really see the stars. And even though it wasn't nighttime, just that sense of that connection with nature is really like I really see that as sometimes a missing when it's just going through the hustle and bustle inside of a city, and how grounding it is, So I set I set an intention today, or just like a way that I'm coming from today, and it's grounded power, like grounded power. So after talking to my coach this morning, I was recommended to just like go somewhere that grounds you. Don't worry about the tasks that you're gonna do. Like doing things that ground you is gonna get into your flow more. Not just in flowing rapping, like into your flow of life more. And man, it nourishes my spirit, man. I feel so good. So I wanted to ask you, man, like, just how are you like really just nourishing your spirit, dude?
Well, first off, what you just shared, I mean, good Lord, that was beautiful. I don't hear the beat anymore, but I'll say, just to react to what you just said. Yeah, I've had to find ways to get out of my apartment responsibly. I mean, I don't have people I live with, like my aunt and my mom, like you,
right.
So I don't have to worry about getting other people sick. Nonetheless, you still kind of worry every time you step outside, especially in New York City. But yeah, going to the park. I went to the park on Memorial Day. It was just me, myself, and I, a bottle of wine, a book that was so good it would make you cry, and I just chilled out for 3 hours. And that was my root power, just sitting there. And I looked around at the people all around me, and I knew that they had also found their grounding, and we could just chill and be and play. as long as we were all 6 feet away, of course. We had to be smart, even though we wanted heart. We still had passion, though, to be outside amongst other human beings. And there was no reason for me to be outside except for the fact that I wanted to feel some connection to somebody, anything. Because it's been about 10 weeks since I've been solo. Gavin, I haven't talked to someone that I actually know in a long time, in person. Man, I've just been rehearsing what that might feel like one day to be in front of somebody, to gaze right in their eyes, physicality, you and me. Gavin, can you imagine these things? The one day that you and I finally get to meet in person, we get to grab each other, embrace each other, and call each other brothers. Woo! It's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that time. I know I'm gonna make it mine. I know I'm gonna grab people like it's almost a crime just because I'm gonna be so into it. And I guess I realized that maybe before this time I took it all for granted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, I didn't even think about the fact that something like this could happen. Man, crazy. So now I'm really understanding the value of human connection and interaction. A convection oven that's cooking, a melting pot that we need. Because if you think about it, from the very beginning of humanity, we lived in groups. And the only reason why we survive to this day is because we communicate as groups. We're not meant to be alone like this for too long, because if that's true, then we have to stay so long to our humanity. And if we stay so long to our humanity, then it's extinction for you and me. So I'd have to say at the end of the day that goddamn, I can't wait again for that physical play.
That physical play. My brother Bird, take it away. From New York to LA. I can't wait until that day that we can just embrace each other and be like, what's up, brother? I can feel that. I can feel that right here.
That kind of shit.
That kind of shit, that human connection, that physical affection, that need for attention, and we destined. I think about that too, because even on Mother's Day, and probably even on Father's Day, I haven't even, embraced my parents or even gave a tap on the shoulder at all. I just been keeping my space. And I know that that's really a missing, but it gives me something to look forward to, because when these things kind of blow over, and that first hug, I'm from an Asian American family, and I think some people out there, if you've been through with a family that doesn't really use physical affection as a form of love, I really think that this is going to start to open things up when we're allowed to hug again. And we're allowed to touch again, and that's going to be a form of love, not even again, but maybe to begin.
Woo!
And it's awesome. Sometimes when we're stripped of those, of some of these simplicities, it reminds us how important it is. And I'm like, and it gives me really something to look forward to,
Exactly.
But it's also having me think more into like, what are the things around me that I haven't quite noticed before, that I feel like I want to explore? Like just walking around the block, I see the power in the sky, in the clouds, and even in the flowers. You see how some of the petals are so fragile. Some are purple, some are yellow, some are scentless, no aroma, but it still looks beautiful. There's so much beauty around us. And I try to ask myself questions, because questions really help to experience life in a different way. Like, what are some things that I can notice around me in my room that I haven't quite noticed before? That's a really dope thing. I start noticing cracks on the wall, some cracks on the floor. And they seem like a small thing, but it makes me pay more attention to the detail and showing me that the small things can make the big things, or they amount to the big things, And so, let's see.
Man. The devil's in the details. I feel like I completely relate to what you just said, in the sense that, maybe it just took a matter to slow down in order to look around and for the first time really appreciate the ground that you walked on, right? Because we're so busy with our own lives internally, thinking about the next thing we gotta be. We're always trying to pursue our goals, but sometimes we lose sight of our own souls. And maybe this is the time to get reacquainted with the soul right inside,
Yeah.
Something that can make you truly internally shine. Because I know for me, I feel like a seed that's been planted under the dirt. But instead of being buried, I'm just hibernating for a bit until I grow stronger and stronger. And then I finally emit the bloom of my stems and my leaves. Can you believe? So that is what I'm doing right now. So I'm trying to also take the time to also notice my own cracks too. Not just the cracks in my walls and the floors, but maybe the cracks in my own heart. The cracks of my own body, my own back and spine. Where are those cracks at? That internally I've been leaving to the breeze to just blow away without me even trying to contemplate how I might stay inside my own body and be happy anytime. So I guess I'm sitting back, meditating, praying, letting the spirit flow through me, and understanding that I'm not really truly a human being. I'm something much more, such grander, a consciousness of infinity. And this is but a fractal reflection, a projection of that infinity for a brief moment in time. Ooh.
I feel that.
So
Yeah.
So I feel like, this is a time for me to really get present, not just with the things I took for granted, like the flowers around me, but also, again, my own body, man. Like, I've been doing a shit ton of more yoga. Dude. I'm like a yoga girl guy. I'm like, those yoga girls who are like, I'm a yoga girl. I've become that, but like in my apartment, and nobody knows. But dude, I've been yogaing my ass out, dude.
Wow.
2 times a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of that term before, bro. The yoga girl guy.
Yeah, dude. Just me, with the tights and the little yoga bag, just walking around. That's what I've become in my own apartment. Like, again, nobody's seen that.
Nobody would know, yeah.
Dude.
But that's a really important thing. I mentioned it at the Facebook Live yesterday that what really matters are the things that we're doing in the dark when nobody else is looking.
Ooh.
So it's like, little do you know that I'm the yoga girl guy behind the scenes right here. And don't underestimate my limberness, Yeah.
I love that.
I don't actually do I've done yoga a while back, but today I'm going to do ganja yoga. So
what's ganja yoga?
Of course that'll take place in LA, right? So progressive. But it's an amazing combination. And a lot of my ideas just move when it's just like there's intention behind taking in that sacred Mary J and then getting into the body,
You're gonna get high and do yoga.
I'm gonna get high and do yoga. Yeah.
And I love it. Like you said, you haven't done any yoga.
I've done yoga. I've done yoga before. Yeah.
You haven't done it in a while.
I haven't done it in a while. Yeah.
So I love that you haven't done it in a while, but you're like, but today, fucking ganja yoga, bro.
Respect. Ganja yoga.
Respect. Yeah. I hadn't done yoga in a long time either, and there is no way I would have gotten high to do it for my first time doing it. I did a very gentle beginner's yoga, dude. You're going all in, bro. Just mad respect for ganja yoga. How high, do you smoke out of a bong or what? Like
no. People are just gonna bring I'm just gonna use a little vape pen that my cousin has, Yeah, I don't smoke too much now, but I do it before Flowmaster sessions. I'm actually thinking of, because the virtual Flowmasters that we have on Fridays, I'm actually thinking of having a ganja Flowmasters on a different day, which would be more intimate. It'd be more intimate, but I'd create I'd be facilitating a meditation in the beginning, dropping in with an intention. And then as you focus on the intention coming out, we would do a type of ceremony with the plant. Some people use pipes, some people use bongs, whatever you do. But then we're actually taking it and we're infusing it with the intention that we have.
Oh, hell yeah, bro.
And so I just think
I love that.
One thing that I love, bro, is trying to see on how I can create more ceremony out of the day.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about for instance, meditation. For instance, a big part of meditation is breath. And I think of, meditation is a ceremony of breath, right? Or cacao ceremony is a ceremony using this cacao tea or the cacao drink and turning that into a ceremony. And I just try to think of how can I turn washing dishes into a ceremony, since I personally don't enjoy washing dishes,
I love that. That's a great mind shift, because all it is a perspective shift that you need. And if you
Yeah.
turn washing dishes into a ceremony, I love that. Because then I've been trying to do the same thing with little things that I don't like. Like, I live on the 6th floor of my apartment. So when I come home with groceries, it's a lot of steps to go up. But in my mind, I turn it into a ceremony. I think, okay, what are these chairs trying to teach, or these stairs trying to teach me right now? And each step, I just really meditate on it. And by the time I get to the top, I'm like dying because I got so many groceries and I'm walking these steps. I'm like breathing hard, but ultimately, yeah, it's a ceremony. And I say I'm grateful for these stairs, and I thank you for what you're teaching me in this moment, stairs. So in the same way with dishes, yeah, it's kind of similar. It's like, what are these dishes trying to teach me right now about myself? Because I'm the same way, man. If I don't, because I live by myself, if I don't stay on my dishes, and also because I'm living by myself during quarantine, I'm cooking 3 times a day.
Wow.
3 times a day, like a goddamn gourmet chef. And so, it's like dishes will pile up if I don't clean them. So it's like I've got to have a strict ceremony about that. And because if I let if I let 2 days go by, oh, dude, man, not only is my kitchen a war zone, I also personally feel like shit. So that kind of helps with the ceremony. Like, do I want to feel like shit in 2 days, or just suck it up and clean these dishes and learn from the master dishes?
Yo, what's up with the dishes? You know, you gotta do the dishes unless you got a dishwasher. I wanna say what's up to Michael Ehrenberg and Sabo Shen to Vincent. How y'all doing? You have any questions? Slide right through. And maybe we can flow and talk about you. Because all of you have different stories, but we all human. We can come together. We're not human doings, we're human beings. Who you being in this moment? I don't know. Right here. I can't see you right here, but we are in the flow together. Isn't it amazing, this technology? I'm just trying to put my swing up in the sit. It's where I want to be. Want to be you, see what you can do. I am okay with being confused because I don't always know what's going to be happening, what the next step will be. But like your stairwell, we could use it as a stepping stone, bro. Come on.
Woo!
Slowly climb up, and each step that we take with our groceries is a stepping stone. Food for thought. Hey. What is that?
I love it.
What was that?
I'm happy with my groceries.
Okay.
Hey, Gavin. Look at me. I'm a little dish. Look at me. What is your wish? I know you don't want to clean me. And I'm sitting here beaming with all my dirt and my filth. What you gonna do? I'm chilling here with the rest of my crew. Ooh, we're building up day by day. Woo! Look at you, sit back and crazy. If you think that you're gonna clean me, I'm your obstacle. How you gonna overcome me, Gavin, huh? I'm a little dish in a dishwater. Ooh, what you think, man? You my goddamn father?
Well, Dish, I got something to say to you.
What's that,
Gavin? Sometimes the dishes, you might feel that you're being neglected. You might feel like you're being disrespected because I just leave you there. And I left you there actually yesterday. You know, I had you on the stove for too long when I was making my organic spaghetti. And you know what happened? It burned at the bottom, and all of that spaghetti got stuck on you. And I was trying to scrub you out, and I realized I was being a little rough on you, a little tough on you, not so much love on you. So I left you there with the soap suds, just allowing it to drip and kind of like soak into you. I wanted to just get you out of the way, but I thought like, no, I want to make sure that you're clean and contained. So instead of trying to force something, I let you be right there. So I understand if you might feel like you're being neglected, like I'm still dirty. But if you see right now, right when I got back from the beach, right, Dish, I washed you, and I was able to wash you a little more gently. And now you're spick and span, no more black burntness on the bottom of you. So I think that in a way, you know, it's like a lesson, Dish, that, you know, anything that we want that's worthwhile, you want to be clean, sometimes it takes patience. I didn't mean to burn you, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I got you clean again. You know, it's just patience, that virtue. I didn't mean to hurt you, it's just a virtue. Hey.
I didn't mean to hurt you, it's just a virtue. Ooh. I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just a virtue.
Oh, nice. You want to know something? The homie,
of course.
the homie here wants to actually join. I wonder if you cool with having someone else join?
Of
Sabo?
course. I would love that. I'd love
great.
that.
All right, Sabo, we're gonna connect you right now, and this is gonna be dope. I'm gonna send it over through the Facebook Messenger. Yeah. Let's just
What was his
go.
name? Sable?
His name's Sabo. Yeah. I'm gonna
Sable?
pass it on.
Sable?
Yeah, Sabo. Why don't you want to rap
Sable?
about? You don't know it. You
Sable?
want to rap a little bit?
Yo, I'm excited for Sable. When he walks in, man, I'm gonna feel enabled. It's gonna be 3 of us, man. We're just gonna be rocking. Holy shit, man. Now we're gonna be rising with our stocks, kid. It's gonna be going up all the way. Holy shit, man. Things are about to get super cray. Woo! I heard Sable's the kind of man who'll make you go wild. I heard Sable's the kind of man he acts like a child, but because he's having fun, it's like he has the gun, he shoots it off, but it's his own willingness and passion just to be won. I already like Sable, man. I'm excited for this dude. I'm telling you, man. I don't care if he's.
Have you met him yet?
I feel like I've met him, man.
I feel like you
I'm
have,
rapping
dude.
about him.
Yeah.
I'm flowing about him, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to have him. And if Sable was watching us and was like, "Yo, I want to be with those
Yeah.
2 dudes," then he must be a cool dude.
Yeah.
Unless he was like, "What's that?"
No, Sable is very playful, man. He's like this. He's like a very playful, like childlike father, man. It's beautiful.
A playful kid like father. Ooh,
He's a childlike father, like, but like a responsible childlike father. It's really awesome, man. He's like been a blessing in my life in the past few months. Been a huge advocate of Flowmasters, and you actually went to one, bro. You went to one of the Flowmasters. That's how we were connected in a way. And I just wanted to know, like, what was you have a lot of experience with improv. But yeah, how was your experience with Flowmasters, man? Just honestly.
Yeah, dude. I honestly really enjoyed it because it was mostly men. I mean, women and men are welcome, obviously, but it'd been a while since I was with a group of men who were so sensitive, and they were so open with how sensitive they were being. And I really like that man love in that sense, where because I think sometimes men feel like they have to be macho and they've got to be, sex-driven machines, and they've got to be fighters, and I felt like with those dudes, for whatever reason, whatever the collection of guys was that you brought together, they were all very sensitive, and they were really in touch with their own femininity beyond their masculinity, and I really felt that night. And so, man, I left that night feeling super inspired. And there's one dude I especially connected with. I don't remember his name now, but we were both just rapping about love and just like what love meant to us. And I'd never met the dude, and I was like, wow, I'm being so vulnerable talking about love with this guy. And it felt like you and your partner Michael created that container for that. Not that you were forcing it, but it just, because of how you curated it, that's what organically came up. And so, and that's why at the end of it, that's why I stayed on just talking to you and a few other people. So I was like, yo, I'm just digging these vibes, man.
Right,
so yeah, I'm all about the love vibe and keeping it drama free as much as possible, but trying to be like stable, trying to be that responsible adult yet kid play love. Yeah. And just basically being stable with that dichotomy. So dude, I love the experience personally.
Thank you for sharing that, man. I think that as for men, it is a powerful thing to have these little containers where we can just like really openly express ourselves, and it allows us to be more powerful out there in the world, especially when we can create that container with men too. And even though that was not advertent to actually just be men only, sometimes just things happen for that kind of reason, and we're able to kind of like drop in. So I really think that is kind of dope. Yeah, I think that bird, you were kind of dope. Yo, something kind of coming out of my throat. I think it kind of flow. I'm just going to massage my little throat chakra right here and stay on this. But it's interesting. I noticed that when I get nervous, I touch my throat a lot. You know how we have these little nervous tics? Sometimes it's on my neck. Other times it's on my neck. And it's like I'm trying to protect myself. I think that's why dogs and animals that you can pet are so cool, because rather than just soothing ourselves or like doing this when we're nervous, we can have something
Mhm.
outside of us that we can kind of like just soothe.
Mm.
So I just want to give a shout out to all the cats and the dogs out there right now in quarantine that are serving as this soothing coping mechanism, so we don't have to soothe ourselves and stuff. You know, when we're nervous, we can do it with the pets. I think it helps to keep a lot of people like a little more sane, especially if they're living alone and stuff in their own little studio.
Yeah.
It might be able to even prevent some domestic violence or things from taking place. That unspoken, you know, why do you think people say that, right? You know, like, oh, a dog is a man's best friend. Like, have you ever had a dog before?
Yeah. I grew up with dogs. I haven't never personally owned a dog, but members of my family have had dogs. But I think the idea with man's best friend with the dog is that I think dogs look at us like we're alpha dogs. Like, dogs look at us like we're the fucking shit. So that's why, like, you ever had like a really cool friend who's like, yo, this friend is fucking amazing, and I want to be like this guy because he's the fucking like coolest ever. That's what dogs think of us, and I love that about dogs because you can feel that with a dog. So any dog I meet, I automatically feel connected because I know this dog just thinks I'm the shit. And if it's growling at me or if it's scared, then that's because it is scared. And so I never take a dog like growling at me. I'm never scared of that. I always think, okay, this dog's either trying to out-alpha me, which is cool, man. I always am like, you're the alpha, bro. You're the alpha, yeah. And I give it to the dog, or you know what I do with dogs? I have a little sound that I make with all dogs when I meet for the first time. I go like this. I go. And my grandma, I actually got that from my grandma, and it works 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
And what's up? Sabo in the house.
Yo, what's going on, Bird?
Not too much, bro. Dude, we got our bouncy balls, man. We're
just bouncing, bro.
Rocking.
Oh, hell yeah. You know what? The funny thing is, guys, and I don't mean to just interrupt and start talking, but I don't know, Gavin, if you looked at your phone, I just woke up from a nap and I was like, Gavin, I think I'm ready to do some rhyming today.
Oh,
maybe let's do it. And then I just opened up my phone and you guys literally went live. So I was like, shit, this is very serendipitous. And you know, the ganja yoga, I mean, shit, who else would you be asking about the ganja yoga? So
that's right.
Nice to meet
you. Are you doing ganja yoga? Are you doing ganja yoga with Gavin?
Well, I used to host ganja yoga events, ganja running events, ganja jiu-jitsu events. So very much, I mean, it all fits into what we're doing right here, which is getting into flow. You know, when you get into flow for yoga, when you get into flow for jiu-jitsu, when you get into flow for running, it all feels different. You know, it feels different. You're not working so hard and you're just going with it. And yeah, I could tell you with jiu-jitsu, that's probably the one that most people are really surprised about. But I always tell Gavin, you know, like when I'm normal or kind of in my normal static state for jiu-jitsu, I have maybe 7 or 8 moves that I usually like to do, and I cycle through all 7 or 8 until one of them works. But when I take some cannabis, I call it activation, not medication or intoxication, but activation. And when I get yeah, it's like instead of just 7 or 8 moves, I have like the flow chart of moves is just exponential, and I just see a bunch of different things in different areas, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, and it's like surfing. You know, you don't want to get high the first time you do. The first time you surf, you want to learn the basics and the fundamentals, but once you learn that, then you take a little bit of the cannabis and it can be very additive. So, you know, the intention and the conscious cannabis use, I think, is very important. It's not just getting high and doing whatever you do, but getting high with the right intention, and it'll really take you to another level.
I completely agree. I think that the use of it for me is very spiritual, first and foremost. And when I do it, I am conscious of the fact I am doing this, and I'm going to go on a journey. And hopefully it'll be intentional. Because sometimes when I'm going on a journey, it's not intentional. Then my mind is just like, whoa, shit! But, dude, I love the idea of combining cannabis with exercise. Because I know the few times I've tried that, for whatever reason, I get stronger. But that's only because I think the marijuana has removed the impose boundaries. So what's been activated is my belief in myself more so than prior. So even like I remember I had gotten high and I was doing an ab roller thing. And typically I don't go all the way down. Cause I'm like, I don't want to hurt my back. But when I was high, I was like, fuck that shit. And I was like, oh damn, I have way more capabilities than I ever thought that I did. So yeah, thank you, cannabis. So dude, I completely resonate with what you just said.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that, Bird, and we could jump off this topic after this, but you know, it's that your central nervous system and your wiring has these ways of protecting your body for like injuries and stuff. So if it's not used to stretching past a certain point, it'll start tightening up the muscles. And when you consume the cannabis, many times those neural pathways start getting rewired, where instead of like feeling that like tightness that you get to when you're like starting to do the splits, you know, your body just relaxes and you could get like 10 to 20% lower and deeper. And it's really amazing. Like when you start thinking about like what your central nervous system does to protect your body and how utilizing some of these plant medicines could help with the rewiring of that. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, we've been able to show people or help people get into full splits like in 2 or 3 weeks when they've been stretching their whole lives. And it is a rewiring of the central nervous system and what your mind will allow your body to do.
Wow.
I like that.
I love it.
Already activation, you know, Daniel Fong likes that love activation over medication or intoxication, really setting that context. Vincent has a question for us. He's like, you know, the image of sunlight beaming through the tree leaves and branches in the woods or forest? It's mystical and magical. So my question to y'all is, what makes you feel that mystical, magical, warm feeling inside?
Ooh.
And
Sabo, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh shit. All right, let me turn this up a little. So what's mystical and magical? I'm not too sure.
Ooh.
I just know when I feel it. Sometimes I wish I could just deal it like I used to deal drugs, but instead of drugs, I will deal more hugs. Yes, that's right, because it's time for me to bless the MIC with Gavin and the BIRD, Bird. Yes, I love to be Bird because the bones are hollow, but they still strong, and I will still follow. Yes, you know what? I think I gotta put on my headphones because I hear my voice too much, and it's kind of throwing me off. So I'm gonna throw it down to Bird because he's about to go off. So Bird, take it from me while I get my headphones.
Ooh, magical and mystical. Ooh, let me look into my crystal ball of my own mind, my own third eye. When I sit back, what makes me fly? Honestly, anything. When I'm alive, I really appreciate that fact. Because you ever read that book, The Power of Now? A book by Eckhart Tolle. It makes you go, wow! The first time you read it, you think you might be going crazy, but then you realize, wait, this entire time I was being lazy. I was letting my mind just go with thoughts of past and future, but I cut myself up so much, my brain needed sutures. But when I read that book, it was a healing. It was a breathing in of life as I've never breathed it in before. And so I guess that magical feeling is just being alive right now, and I adore. Even Saturday nights when I sit on my couch by myself, I feel elated, just closing my eyes for hours, meditating on the fact that I'm alive. It feels really good to get into that zone. I wish I could be there always, right down to my bones. And it's not that I can't, it just takes practice. But honestly, even right now, I'm really feeling this. So I guess this makes me feel magical and mystical. Being with Sabo and Gavin got me chilling and laughing. So to answer that person's question, the beam of light flowing through the trees in the woods, it's right now, always, and always in the head. What about you, Gavin? Makes me feel magical and mystical.
What makes me feel magical and mystical and warm and fuzzy feelings inside of this? It's spaces like this. It's the infinite game like this. It's that flow space like this, where I don't have to think ahead. I just trust myself like this. So But you see, I'm not quite in the flow yet. I'm still thinking ahead, but I don't know yet. Eventually it's gonna go on because flow is just around the corner, and you just keep on going and going and going, and stop looking over your shoulder. Just keep looking to that next step in front of you. Maybe not even 10 years in front of you, just that next step, like when you're taking the groceries up your stairs to the 6th floor of your studio apartment right there, and open the door and walk right through and put it into your refrigerator. That's fresh food right there. But yo, here's some food for thought right here, that what if we were just to be in the moment a little more? Because planning is really important, but the moment is something worthy of exploring. Because bro, the power of now holds very dear to my heart. Very dear to my heart. That changed my life. I don't know if you remember that bird. If I ever told you the story, it saved me from this drug called Xanax. It saved my it very well kind of saved my life, because I was doing some stupid shit back in the day, you know, and I wasn't remembering what was going on, like, and I probably said in another flow session, but I was like browning out every day, and I wasn't remembering days, because I was just crushing up these Annie bars and I was snorting it, and I was avoiding I was just avoiding a relationship that I needed to break up with, that we just were incompatible, you know. And so when I ended up having withdrawals, and I said that I can't do this no more, I'm gonna kill myself, you know, or like literally not kill myself, but I'm killing myself, you know. From that, my dad recommended The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and it was over spring break during my 3rd year at UC Irvine, and I was just receptive. I started reading that book, and I seriously, I took so many notes on it, bro, and that's the first time that I started meditating. And because it brought me on meditating, and although it was an on and off thing, that kept me off of Xanax, you know. And so when you mentioned that, dude, that just touches the core, because that very well saved my life in a way, that book.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's funny because that book, when you read it and when you are open and receptive to it, it shows you how much power you truly have to control even an addiction to a drug. Like you have all this power for you here right now, and it's just realizing that and really going in and doing that inner work. And that book is like a manual for that very thing. It's like a user manual.
You read it every year, right? Didn't you say that? You read it like?
Yeah, I read it once a year. Yeah, I actually just finished reading it, which is probably why I brought it up.
That's awesome. Hey, by the way, do you know Jason Xiao? HSIAO, Jason? He's like, how do you know Michael Bird?
Jason Xiao?
Yeah. Jason HSIAO, his name.
I need to look at a picture of him. I hope he's not watching this and be like, yo, Bird doesn't remember me?
he is on right now.
Jason Xiao. Oh, God.
Hey,
Jason,
why don't you write... Hey, Jason, let us know how you know Bird. He wants to know how you know this fly guy right here.
Yeah. Jason sounds like a power mover. He's managing director at Shaw Investments, so maybe you did a talk there or something.
Do you know him, or you just make up those facts?
Well, he's looking on Facebook right now, probably, to see.
Yeah.
Oh, you're searching. Yeah, you found him.
Yeah, I don't know him.
But yeah. Hey, I wanted to know, Mr. Sabo, if you had to actually lead a little segment right here, what would you do to facilitate this experience right here, huh? Hey.
Oh shit. Well, you know what? One of my favorite exercises that you have me do is when we talk in metaphors and analogies. So one of the favorite ones that you showed me is, do you remember the movie Forrest Gump, Bird?
I remember that movie.
Okay, so you remember Forrest Gump's mom tells him life is like a box of chocolates, and then needs to explain in analogies why life is like a box of chocolates. So for this exercise, I'm going to pick something in my room, and I just want you to speak in metaphors and analogies. So life is like a cup of water, and you could rhyme or you could just talk, whatever you feel like, and but just let it flow. Life is like a cup of water.
Ooh, life is like a cup of water. Life is like a cup of water because like a cup of water, you just got to let it flow, right? You take the water in a cup and you never know when you might need it or not, but you drink it up and ooh, it feels good when you really take the time to appreciate the water that was been presented to you in a cup. kind of like life. We're kind of like that cup in a way, right? Life is like a water in a cup, right? We're that cup for life, right? A human being is a cup, the ultimate cup for the life that flows through the entire universe, right? A worm is a cup for worm life. A dog is a cup for dog life. And a human being is a cup for human life. And let me tell you, that human life, ooh, to be a cup for that, god damn, it feels good. So I say life is like a cup of water because human life is like a cup of water. And in fact, all life is like a cup of water, right? Earth is a cup for Earth life, right? The universe is a cup for universe life. And the multiverse is a cup for multiverse life. So honestly, every single piece and bit of life is like a water cup in the sense that as high as you go and as grand as you go, it's an entire cup. But you can go down to the tiniest atom, the tiniest quirk, and realize that a quirk is but a cup for quirk life, a building block for all life. And my friend, don't get too wrapped up in the problems and the sorrows, and don't forget to drink that sweet, sweet water cup of life, because again, a cup of water is like life.
Oh man, Bird. I love how you said it was so tough and then the words just flowed out of your mouth, and that was the truth, you know, and you had me at multiverse, so you didn't have to say anything after that. All right, so
I give one to Gavin?
Yeah. Oh man, this guy is rookie of the year here. He already knows what to do. Bird, give it to Gavin.
Hey.
I'll give it to Gavin.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
Gavin.
What up,
Gavin?
Lenny?
Life
Go.
is like an internet. Life is like an internet router.
So, I heard from a little bird that life is like an internet router. You see, we need a router in order to be connected right now. Without the router, we actually wouldn't be connected. And there are some things when it comes to even humans, even when we're in person, that's really essential for that kind of connection. And what that is that's a sense of understanding. You know, the router, in a way, it's built in a way where it understands how to connect to form this kind of experience that we have right here. It's very fundamental for this thing right here to work. And so there are fundamentals in life, in human life, that's important to learn. Some of which that I'm still learning. You know, some of which is learning to actually see each other, the other person and where they're coming from without judging it. And that's a big part of the Flowmaster's way. It's creating something called Rally the Cipher, where we're encouraging each other, where we're kind of like leaning into the experiences of another person shares without feeling bad for it, without judging it, just like I feel you. I feel that human, and I'm human too. You know, and I think like at the end of the day, like that's that kind of like what the Flowmasters thing is. It's kind of like, I want to just show you that I'm human. Are you too? You know? And I think that's where it touches on that fabric of humanity is just those little more brittle pieces of ourselves right there. So, you know, just to piggyback back that life is like a router, there are fundamentals that's essential to establishing that real human connection. And so with that being said, I want to pass it to Sable, and I want to think about a little metaphor that he can take away. So life is like chapstick.
Oh shit, because aviators.
And I'm gonna change it to this. Yeah, you go.
Okay. My wife's sunglasses, I think, look okay. So, I put this on because if you could see what I'm looking at, my wife has like 100 chapsticks on the wall right now. So, why is life like a box of chapsticks? Well, here, let me tell you why. Well, chapstick is made of wax, and you might not think of wax as something that nourishes you and gives you moisture, but it does. And many times in life, you know, you'll encounter a lot of different people that come into your life. Some look like friends, some look like enemies, some look like people that you want nothing to do with. But, you know, if you're like a box of chapsticks, you might be like, hey, those guys look plasticky, those guys look waxy, those guys look fake. You know, maybe I don't want these people in my life because maybe when I was younger, these fake people, took my toys in 3rd grade, and I held it against them for a very long time, whatever type of person that they might have been. So, now when I use chapstick and I put it on my lips and I go, wow, this thing that's solid actually moisturizes my lips and gives it that vitamin E and that SPF 15. I can't even believe like what it does for me. So now when I see people that come into my life, sometimes they don't seem like the perfect fit, but I got to open up my mind and say, hey, they might not be, the people that I'm used to, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn from them and I can't learn from you. And what I love, Mike, is what you said earlier about Flow Masters, which is, this is a little tangential, but this is a place where, not just people, but men specifically, you talked about, men could come together and have real deep conversations with each other and talk about vulnerabilities and things like that. So in a way, Flowmaster is like chapstick. You come into Flowmaster, you think you're going to be doing some rhyming, you think you're going to be flowing, you're kind of intimidated as hell. Then you come on and you're like, all I really got to do is tell my truth. And it's going to resonate with people. Just like all you got to do is put chapstick on your lips to make them nice and moist. And that is why life is like a box of chapsticks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you were inspired by your wife's hundreds of sticks of chapstick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Too
man.
many.
Well done. Well orchestrated right there. Yeah, the metaphors. I love metaphors. They help to just practice it. Like that game just helps to practice conditioning our minds to create meaning. Every single meaning that we created, it was like an empowering meaning. Whether we're talking about the chapstick or Xing water, go with the flow. Chapstick is kind of like, oh, there's people in our life that don't agree with what we have, but we're sure of it, and then they're trying to beating us down, then maybe they shouldn't be in our life. So I think this metaphor game, in a way, it helps us to reflect and express in a way of what we really believe.
Yes. In fact, this chapstick is spicy as fuck. You can see the flame on it. And it's hurting.
Spicy
and I'm like, you know what? I don't need this goddamn chapstick in my life. I want like a sweet strawberry chapstick, okay? So, dude, you nailed it.
Yo.
And, bro, freaking router internet connection, combining that with human connection? What?
Come on now.
What?
Let's go. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, baby.
You never know what's going to come out. But, yo, whenever you find that next chick, you put that chapstick on. Oh, that kiss gonna hurt. Like sometimes it's tough love. That kiss hurts. Right here. Like we're in the dirt. But I didn't have my feet in the dirt. I had it in the sand today while I took it away. That was just... Oh, I can't tell you the last time that I had my feet in the sand. It's probably been like 6-7 months ago. And it's one of those just, being born and raised in Mar Vista right by Venice Beach. It's something I easily take for granted. Just being in the beach, I don't know in New York how far it is to get to the, like, how far are you from the beach? Like,
if I were to go to the beach, no, I wouldn't do it. I'd have to go to either the Jersey Shore or Long Island. I guess I could go to Coney Island, but nah. I just go to the river. There's a river nearby, the East River, and I just go to that, and that's good for now. And I'll go to the beach when it's safe to go. But like where you are, it wasn't crowded, right? There wasn't that many people out on the beach.
No, not at all.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's beautiful, especially if you go down the PCH. I don't know if either one of you ever been down the PCH to get to Malibu. Yeah, it's such a beautiful drive, and you're just like right along. You see the beach on your left side as you're driving. Oh man, something about that nature. And I wanted to just a question that comes to mind, a very simple one, but this is a question that I asked myself a lot during this quarantine, and I wanted to just open it up to Bird first, and we could all take turns answering it. And for all of you just listening in, like, be cool for you. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Feel free to write in the chat box or send me a message. I'd love to hear it. But it's what really matters?
What really matters? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I love that. Ooh, that's a good question, man. That's a really good question. What really matters? Well, I'll tell you this. Quarantine has helped me have a radical prioritization on what does truly matter. I think before this, I was just go, 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 especially in a city like New York where everyone
Right.
is just go, 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 go. And so I would say what I think matters now, post-quarantine, is different from what I thought mattered pre-quarantine. So I guess for me now, what matters on a superficial material sense, what matters is, I guess, keeping my skills sharp. I've been doing things like beefing up my accounting knowledge. I have an accounting degree and I'm a CPA. So I've just been going back to that and being like, maybe I could be a better accountant, especially in a city like New York where everyone is just go, 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 go. And so I ultimately, and then I think beyond the superficial things like that, my body matters a lot. Like I mentioned before, I've been doing yoga 2 or 3 times a day. I've been working out a lot. I've been losing weight, and I'm not as physically strong like when I was lifting weights, but I'm more functionally strong. Like there's certain areas of my body that I've been neglecting. So I realized, wow, my body really fucking matters. And I'm 35 now, and not that that's old, but it's like, you know, I got to start thinking preservation so I can keep myself feeling young. So that matters to me, man, aging gracefully. And I'd also say, ultimately, what matters most is my own happiness. And not in a selfish way, but I realize I need to be able to be alone and be able to look in the mirror and genuinely smile and be happy. Like, that's all that matters. And then if I can really, truly do that in my own zone, in my own home, where I live by myself, then I can bring that happiness and that cheer and that joy to other people that I meet, right? So that matters to me more so now than ever. And so I think I don't want to go back into the real world feeling scared to love. You know what I mean? Like when an opposing force that, those opposing forces that don't really like talking about or feeling love, when those opposing forces come up, just being really cool, calm, and collected, and realizing, me standing up for what I feel is important, which is connecting through love, that's what matters most. And so I guess during quarantine, if I can keep that in my own head, even when I'm not talking to people, and even when I'm self-isolating for 10 weeks now, then that's what matters. That's what matters, I would say. All those things I said.
Yeah, isn't it so interesting how we have like setting a frame? And when I mean my own happiness, I don't mean I'm not meaning it in a selfish kind of way. It
right,
how that could be so. We're like, in order to get to that thought where you would actually have to put that as a frame for it, just goes,
right.
It's just like having to be so courteous. Like, why do we have to apologize that we want to be happy? Why do we have to try to say things around it? Because everything can get misinterpreted, right? It's just
right,
so
right.
how we do it. But like, that was very emotionally intelligent for you to do that, and it's so interesting just how fuck yeah, dude. Be about your own happiness, I really think that we treat each other better when we focus on our own happiness too,
Fuck yeah.
Man, it's just and setting healthy boundaries too, and heck yeah, man. And so I want to go and pass it to the next man right here in the purple shirt. He's the man, and I wanted to know as we are going to, how about this one? How about this? Yeah. So say what for you. What really matters to you?
Oh, well, so many things matter to me. This life is really a gift. There's your job, there's your community, there's your family. So those are obviously, well, maybe not so obvious, but to me, those things really matter a lot because, we don't know how much time we have on this planet. And things could change really quickly. And well, there's my wife, the chapstick queen over there.
Hi.
Yeah.
We know it matters to your wife.
Yes.
Lots of chapstick.
And obviously my wife, she matters a lot to me. And so many things happened in this past week. It's really interesting. So shit. Well, what really makes it matter? I don't really know, but I know sometimes when I think about my dad, it makes me sadder. Why? Because I lost him earlier this week. And you know why? Well, he had cancer and I couldn't see him because of coronavirus, but I still saw him every day. I still speak with him in my mind every day, every night. You know what? That's what really matter. thinking about my dad, yeah, it still makes me sadder, but it kind of makes me happy because he was here. He taught me everything that I know. No fear. I just do whatever I want to do, and I do it with pride because you know what? My dad said, "You got nothing to hide. You a good man. You grew up into a good husband." And I said, "Thank you, Dad." And you know what? Even though when I talk about him, I feel real sad, but at the same time, it's cathartic, and I got to do it because it's the way. And then you know what? It's time for me to pay my respects to my family. They taught me everything. Then I got two teachers right in front of me right here showing me new things. And that's how we gotta go. You know why? This is why I love to flow on this show with Gavin Masumiya and the bird. We're gonna fly real high. We not just nerds, we actually intelligent. We CPAs and coaches. And this is why Sabo, he smokes all the roaches, because even though I sell a lot of weed from my company, I don't waste it because it's really spiritual. And to me, the plant is the one that also matters, because when I just smoke the plants, I get a new type of consciousness that goes through me. And you know what? It's a better version of me, because sometimes I get caught up in the game just thinking about the other CEOs and how much they made. Do I gotta make as much as them? I don't really think so, because they're not so happy. So I'm already richer than them because I'm happy almost all the time. Not right now, but I'm still kind of grieving, and that's okay because I do you guys, and I got nothing. I'm gonna just keep going, even though my audio just stopped. We can't stop ourselves, because sometimes life just throws you some curveballs. You still gotta hit it. I'm 5'8" inches tall, and that's not too tall, but you know what? I still feeling like a giant when I'm with y'all because my voice is coming through. So Gavin, you know what? I think it's time to hear from you.
Yeah, that was. Thank you for just expressing, you know, and sharing like what took place early in the week. We talked about that, and for you to know that this is going live, to just express that too is just another step, a few steps into just, you know, hey, this is me. This is what I'm going through, you know. I had two other friends who lost their fathers like through COVID-19, you know, over the past 2 months. And one was completely just not planned. You know, it just was like, what the fuck happened? The other one was already had other complications. And so like, you know, of course, Edwin, you know, it really can relate to it. So thank you for putting that in. And yeah, allow yourself that space to grieve when you need to, you know. That's honoring your father. Every time you do that, you're honoring your father, bro, you know? And so that's what I care about. I care about like the people in life. Like I care about you, man. You know, I care about you giving yourself that space. And I feel like you have to pile drive through everything. You know, that's why like I got your back. You can always use that during the Flow Masters to let go. So you go back into the world and you be that. You go back more powerful because you have a release valve. You have a safe place, a safe release valve to let that shit out where it's not like inappropriately just fired out in the world. You have a space to do that, you know? And so for everyone that's listening, you know, like what I care about is people have their release valves. That people have their little safe anger containers, their little sad containers where they can do it like in safe spaces. And sometimes it's just going to pop out in different places. If we're shoving it under the carpet, that's what will happen, you know? But when we have these places, Flow Masters is a place, you know? So, you know, what I care about is people really feeling like they can be themselves. And not only that, but feeling like people can create themselves too. Because I feel like when people have a space where they can feel like they're not being judged, they can start to wonder about a life. They can wonder about new habits that they would want, things that they want to stop doing, things they want to let go of, things that saying I love you more to the people that they care about, you know? And they can start to, from being like, wow, I can completely be myself, it goes to a place like, I want to create myself now, you know? So I think it's more about, not more than just finding yourself, it's creating yourself. When you feel comfortable in being yourself, then you making yourself. That's great. You can find the greatness in yourself through gratitude, being grateful. So y'all, let's be great by being grateful.
Woo! Put the great and grateful now. Put the great and grateful now.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome if that what you're smoking out of, that was also chapstick. So you could like have chapstick and smoke up. That would be
You know,
Dude,
you
I
know what I
love
wanted
it.
to do, and it's like you totally. Actually, I wanted to bring it back to like, just present to this. I wanted to. You can totally say no to, bro. For this placebo is like, if you had to like say like a little message, you could totally say no too. I know that you're. I think that you would take this on. What would you want your you know, like I know that there's a language barrier with you and your pops, right? Like now that he's there, like if he could, you know, if it was just unfiltered and you could just, and there's something that you wanted to say that you couldn't quite articulate, what is something that you really would just, you know, want to express or like say to him?
You know, what I would tell my dad is a lot of things. You know, it's a lot of things that I told him before he passed, but, you know, it's worth repeating, which is, you know, like, even though we even though we had trouble communicating, mainly because English was his second language and I never really learned Mandarin, you know, like, I knew that he loved me, and I know that he knew that I loved him too. And that even though we couldn't communicate as deeply as we wanted through words, you know, the feelings are always there, and the lessons that he taught me are always there. And, you know, you have nothing to worry about. The grandkids are taken care of. My brother and sister are taken care of. We're going to take care of mom. And, you know, to just know that, you know, there were times like I wish, like, oh man, I wish I could get my dad to do mushrooms. You know, he's going to see the light, because, you know, my dad was a lifelong CEO too. And, you know, running those companies, he really identified as a CEO. And while he was recovering, you know, we all had to take care of him. And he always took care of us, you know, and it was really difficult, you know, and actually the chemo and all the treatments they were working very well physically, but mentally he was having a tough time because he was used to being the caretaker and not being able to be taken care of, you know. So that's why I wish he had a psilocybin experience that could kind of take him out of the matrix. But one of the things that I learned was, you know, for people of that generation, you know, like, they were worried about survival. They were worried about just sustaining, you know. Self-actualization and enlightenment wasn't their purpose in life. You know, their purpose was to go from struggling every day to making a better life, to creating something so that I can go broadcast my message out to so many more people, you know. And my dad, he was not very emotionally intelligent, you know, like, I didn't learn any of that from him, but I learned my work ethic, I learned my discipline, and I learned a lot about, you know, how to be a responsible human being through him. But I also believe that, you know, like, Gavin's seen the way I parent my daughters, and my goal is to make sure that my daughters are, you know, Sabo 3.0. You know, I want them to far exceed anything that I've been capable of. And, you know, like, I think for my dad, you know, like, this isn't a slight against my dad, but, you know, like, I know, like, I'm going to be better than my dad. And dad, you know, like, that means he did his job, because I feel confident that I could exceed what he's done and to give more of myself in ways that, you know, he just wasn't able to. He had trouble having tough conversations with people. Like, when he needed to lay people off from his company, he would ask one of his best friends to do it. So his best friend was the guy that everyone hated, because, you know, he would do the tough part. And, you know, like, my dad, you know, like, he was a very nice man and very strict at the same time. But yeah, you know, that inability to have those tough discussions, you know, that is something that really taught me, like, I need to be better than my dad at this. This way I could connect with my wife more. This way I could connect with my kids more. This way I could connect with everybody more, you know. And those are the things that I've really remembered, you know. Like, I called him every day. He was in Taiwan. We FaceTimed him. My sister told me the times that he saw us and the girls were basically the only times that he would smile. So I know for the last 90, 120 days of his life, you know, like every time we would call with the girls, that was the highlight of the day. And that felt so good to be able to do that for him. So, you know, I hope, you know, Dad, if you're listening out there, that you know that we were very intentional, wanting to make sure that every day you had a chance to smile, and that, yeah, you know, like we miss you a lot. Like I'm holding it together okay right now, but there are times when I just can't hold it in, and it just has to come out, like the release valve that Gavin said. And you know, it's difficult, you know, like there's many times I feel absolutely normal, then I think about him and I get brought down to this other headspace. But you know, as Gavin says, the feeling of pain is also congruent to how much impact he had in my life, you know. And I'm thankful to our other friend Edwin, who would constantly talk about his relationship with his dad. And I had already told Gavin this, but when I found out my dad had cancer and we flew back to Taiwan, the last podcast I did was with Edwin Ho, and he's an occupational therapist, but we ended up just talking about my dad, and instead of like what he was doing. And he would check in with me every week to see how my dad was doing. And honestly, like, it was to the point where I was like, he thinks about my dad more than I do, you know, which was kind of silly when you think about it, you know. And like I'm very thankful that Gavin and Edwin came into my life at the time, because I think with Flowmasters, that really opened up a part of me to just be there with them, you know, and not be in my head. And then with Edwin always talking about him or talking about his dad and how much reverence he had for his dad, you know, that was also a constant reminder to contact my father and, you know, really engage as much as we can over FaceTime with him. And I don't know if I put this part 2 and 2 together, Gavin, but the one part that really tied it all together in a beautiful little bow for me, you know, what turned me from an atheist to a hopeful agnostic to someone that has a strong spiritual practice, was that, you know, Edwin, he has hearing aids because he's hard of hearing. And his dad actually, before his dad passed the law so that if babies are born hard of hearing, like there's a program that they could get in to get fitted for hearing aids and things like that. And he saw this lady who had a child with hearing aids, and he ran up to her and just said, hey, you know, I have hearing aids too, like I hope you're not freaked out, but I just want to let your son know, like, just because he has hearing aids, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, he could also learn how to speak. Look how well I speak. And the lady told him that, like, that the reason, like, they were able to detect the hearing loss so early was because of that bill that his dad had passed. And it was so cool. And, you know, like what I didn't, the part that really kind of brought it full circle was that when I went back to Taiwan, you know, like my dad was also hard of hearing and he had to get hearing aids, you know, and that was the first time he had hearing aids. And, you know, it was weird because it made it hard to communicate with him. But at the same time, I think because he was hard of hearing, instead of communicating with the words, we try to communicate more with feelings. And, you know, when I was telling my sister this story, like, I was just so overwhelmed because, you know, like a lot of times you just think stuff is chance, and maybe it is chance. I mean, I don't really know the odds of the universe. Anything could happen. Like a monkey could type out fucking Romeo and Juliet given enough multiverses. But I like to think like Edwin and his reverence for his father and the hearing aid story, and, you know, all the different hearing aids, like me and my sister had to like get my dad fitted, you know, there was some sort of connection there. And it really did allow me to, you know, have closure when he died, you know, like I left nothing on the table. And that's the best part, you know, like I realized that life is temporary. And, you know, the worst thing is when you don't have closure, you know, and you just think. So I don't have to do that. And that's what I'm really grateful for. And for my dad, you know, like, I think you know, he knows how much I care for him, and how much I'm going to carry on his legacy, and how, you know, every parent, they love their children the same, you know, equally. But, you know, I think every parent, it's okay to have favorites. And I wasn't my dad's favorite. You know, my dad's favorite was my sister. And my sister is this very special human. She's given a lot of her life for our family, like years of her life, you know, when me and my brother couldn't. And, you know, one of my younger daughters is just like my sister. And, you know, the connection my youngest daughter had with my dad, like, my dad's like, he was horrible with kids. Like, he just like, I mean, he liked kids, but he just didn't know how to interact with kids. But with my youngest granddaughter, Savannah, who's also been on Flowmasters freestyling too, you know, they had a connection, you know, and it's just, it was beautiful to see, like, kind of like my dad with my granddaughters, because my dad, you know, he was a businessman. He wasn't around a lot when I was younger, you know. He was always traveling out, and I didn't see him that much, really. You know, my mom really raised me, but my dad would come back and, you know, like stern father, scold us. We'd be scared, you know, and stuff like that. But ultimately, I realized, like, he is the reason why I'm almost bulletproof here right now. You know, like, I'm almost bulletproof to anything. And the flip side is, the good part is, I realized through, you know, all the learnings in life, like, I don't have to be bulletproof. I could take off the bulletproof vest and allow myself to get injured. It's okay. But when it's time to suit up, when it's time to go to war, when it's time to fight for a cause, like, I have 100% belief, like, I put on that bulletproof vest and I'll be on the front lines and able to fight in a way that, you know, is similar to what you see when, like, those teams that are like down 20 points in the fourth quarter and there's only 5 minutes left. Like, are they just going to throw in the towel, or are they going to play like every minute and try to just hit that last second 3-point dagger, you know, like Kobe did, you know? And that's what I know, like, I have that in me too. And the ability, my dad had that, you know, and he couldn't take off the bulletproof vest, you know, and that was the problem. You know, he always had to be bulletproof. So yeah, you know, like, Dad, you could take off your vest now. You could just be you. You don't have to be Dad. You don't have to be CEO. You just be you, you know, and that's what I want to send my dad.
Dude, that's beautiful. I think even though your dad has never did psilocybin, I think he's having that psilocybin experience now. I heard this, I was listening to this monk talk, and he made the point that, you know, when somebody dies, we don't actually know what happens to them internally. Like, we know physically the body's no longer there, but nobody's been able to actually prove what happens to the internal, the subtle, spiritual essence of a person. And so it can be very much true that the spirit of your dad is around still, and the energy that he brought is still around us. And I like to believe that your dad actually did hear everything you just said, and I know for one thing, he's definitely smiling right now, man. So that was beautiful. And also what you said about closure kind of reminded me. I sent this quote to Gavin, but there's this quote about closure that I really love. I'm going to read it real quick, and it's this: I suppose in the end, the whole of life becomes an act of letting go. But what always hurts the most is not taking a moment to say goodbye. And I'm so happy that you had a chance to say goodbye, Bebo.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was true. That was true honoring your father right there, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man. That's love right there, dude. Those tears are love, bro. That shit is freaking powerful, man. You know?
I'll tell you this, a monkey could not type that up with all of infinity, what you just expressed and experienced No monkey could type that up on a typewriter, my friend.
No way. No fucking
Oh,
way.
yeah. I love you, Michael Bird. I love you, Michael Bird.
I love you too, Sabo.
And Vincent
you know
said
what?
that's beautiful. Vincent said that was beautiful, and he's like, "I love you, Sabo, bro." Vincent, true.
Hey, thank you, Vincent. Thank you very much. And you know what? Like, this is why I believe in the true power of Flow Masters. You know, like, we just come here, we think we're gonna rap, we're gonna rhyme, we're gonna have a good time. Maybe we learn some skills, we show it off to our friends after. But the truth is, like, you know, I see it. It happens every week. You know, when people could cut the bullshit, when you could cut the act, you know, and just show up. You know, like, nothing more than you are, nothing less than you are. You just show up as you. You connect with people really quick. You know, like, you don't need to be face to face. You don't need to be in proximity. You just need to be able to use this technology. And, you know, the thing that prevents you from connecting isn't the technology, isn't the distance. It's your ability to be vulnerable and to let people in. You know, so thank you guys for creating that container, because this is something like I did want to say and do, and I just wasn't too sure when I would do it. And, you know, like, just waking up, texting you, and then getting a cup of water and seeing you guys go on live. And then I saw Bird just doing some crazy shit. I was kind of fixing the sliding glass door at my house, and I was like, these guys are having too much fun. You know, these guys are having too much fun. I gotta get in there. Like, I don't need to be Candyman today. I'm just gonna enjoy myself. And yeah, you know, coming on, this was so cathartic. I'm super happy. You know, like, and yeah, man, you're the coolest CPA I fucking know, Bird.
Oh shit, man, I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, it's true though. It's all about being able to remove the armor. And as men, we especially have extra armor on us to be a certain way and to be vulnerable and so open like this. A lot of men don't do that, especially men meeting themselves with each other for the very first time. You know, it's rare to have that instant vulnerable connection. And in some ways, maybe being behind a screen makes it a little easier to let yourself be vulnerable. You know, in some interesting ways.
Yeah, these safe containers, man. That's how it is. Like, yeah, it's powerful, man. And this is just one of many vehicles, you know, for this to take place right here. And, you know, I just like, I like to believe that, you know, after this call, you know, Sable, like that, you know, and all these experiences that puts you in a place where you squeeze Savannah a little tighter, you know, you squeeze your wife a little more kiss, you know. And I just heard about the Asian kiss where you smell. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know that one.
I didn't know that. I thought that's a Chinese thing. That's what my buddy Daniel was saying, that like when they go, they do this, like, and they sniff, because like instead of kissing, you're taking in their essence or something. And I never heard of that before. But you know, just all of that just being said, you know, it's just like, it's the same thing, you know, when my mom was a year ago when she was in the hospital, and even though I'm not hugging her right now, when she got out of the hospital, dude, and every time that I've seen her with these hugs, they're a little tighter. They're a little tighter, man. And it makes such a big difference. That little extra hug, that little extra tightness, is that extra batch of love. Just like, yeah, it's like, fuck, I love you, you know. And so this was, in a way, it's you're gonna love, I think that you're gonna love harder, man. And that's gonna be a gift to all you encounter, especially your family.
It's what matters most. That's what matters most.
Back to the question, right? Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? You know, Bird, you were saying like maybe it's a little bit easier because we're doing it virtually, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it doesn't matter. What matters is the results, you know, of what happens. And you know why I respect each and every person that comes to Flow Masters is that, you know, like if we go back to the bulletproof analogy, you know, I used to wear that with such pride, like, you know, like I can't be broken, like nothing is gonna faze me. And what I realized was that was me running from emotions, you know, that was me running from being sad, anxious, depressed, all the things that are part of the human experience. So, you know, like this type of vulnerability, you know, like I give everyone a lot of props because this is actually like the most courageous thing you could do, which is to show up here and to present yourself to the world in a way that, you know, you might like look like the biggest fool, or you might look like Eminem, you know, who knows, or you might just be something in the middle. But if you show up and you have the courage to take off the armor, you know, you're going to be able to receive so much. And just like Gavin said, you know, through this death, I'm going to be able to love a little bit more, because now I understand, you know, intrinsically, like the pain of losing a parent. You know, I think that's a very interesting connection, because you just think of your parents as like these people that will always be there, that, you know, always took care of you, that, you know, like nothing could ever happen to them. And when something does happen to them, it shakes the foundation of your life, you know. And, you know, that foundation, fortunately, you know, means that a little bit more love will also come out, and the people around me will be the beneficiaries of that. And, you know, and those are the lessons, you know, like my dad, one of the best things he taught me was, you know, even when you're losing, you're learning, you know. So this is like the ultimate loss. So I hope to have the ultimate learning lesson from it.
Ooh. Yes.
Ultimate loss into ultimate learning. And yeah, that's freaking powerful, man. That's awesome, dude. That was an awesome share that just has me more connected to my father and my mother, man. You know, and I think that, you know, it's a very interesting talk about if we keep showing up, right? We could talk about this is what happened during the week, but when we really get inside, like, for instance, Edwin talks about his dad a lot. I end up talking about my family. Maybe like sometimes I talk about my mom, my aunties, you know, like I talk about family a lot. And it's just revealing. I always thought like family is important to me. I'm like, damn, it's super important to me. Because when I'm freestyling and my prefrontal cortex shuts off, that's what seems to come out. Like my family's just so deeply embedded in my subconscious. And another thing that I tend to talk about is I talk about that oscillation of confidence and doubt. I talk about that a lot too. And it's just like, you know, that forever kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like these two internal voices that are still there, you know. The encourager is coming out actually more, and I can't deny that the other voice is still there, you know. And so it's just like, wow, yeah, there's still something around expressing the insecurities, you know, and just talking about that dance between the two that still I talk about. So, you know, just kind of close this up in a bow too. I spoke all your time. We went a little longer than I thought. I'm like, no, actually, we went on as we were supposed to. And so what I really wanted to do right here is just, you know, kind of like end up on a lighter note, because, yo, we the three-dimensional kind of being. So I want to pass it over to my man Bird, high in the sky, fly. You notice that there's not too many planes now? Bird, you can just easily just freely go up into the sky. So how do you wanna just fly?
Ooh, yeah. How do I want to fly? Like one hell of a guy, just flying through the clouds. The power of now. Ooh, I don't have to worry about any planes running into me. I can fly so crazily, up and down, all around, flapping my feathers. I know that there's no way better. I gotta take off my armor and be vulnerable. Look at me, I have to just be beaming, singing, everything, letting it flow through me. So how do I want to fly? I want to oscillate too. Sometimes I feel nervous, dude. Sometimes I feel like I'm not good at rapping. But what does it mean to be good at rapping or flowing? Who gives a shit? It's all just energy. It's all just brain chatter. Yak, 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 yak. What's up with that? Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck if I sound whack. You know, the other day I was thinking, it's kind of impossible to worry about what other people think of you. It really is, in the sense that I don't actually know what Sabo is thinking. I don't know what Gavin is thinking. You know, I could conclude that, man, Sabo thinks that I'm an idiot, or Gavin thinks that I'm dumb. But if I thought that, then that's really just what I think of myself. Does that make sense? I'm just projecting what I think about myself onto Gavin and Sabo. But in reality, I'm not in your brains. And so when I came to that conclusion the other day, I was like, wow. So every time I worry about what other people think of me, that's actually me worried about what I think of me and just projecting that worry onto other people.
Yeah.
Man, that like shocked me. And I think I'm not going to worry about what other people think of me ever again. And if I ever do, I'm going to catch myself and be like, no, Michael Bird, that's what you think of you. And then if somebody does come up to me and physically tells me, oh, you're a jerk or you're an idiot, you're stupid, I don't really give a fuck because that's not what I think of me. And what I think of me is more important than what you think of me. So that's how I want to fly to the sky. I just want to be in my own mind's eye. I don't want to be in anyone else's eyes except my own. I want to step on life's stage and I just want to own. I just want to show off. I just want to be myself and blast off like an Elon Musk SpaceX rocket going into space to colonize Mars. I want to go hard ass motherfucker, ham. That's how I want to fly. I want to fly like a ham.
Ham.
That's
Come
how I
on
wanna fly.
now. Look at that.
Let me fly ham.
You don't have. It doesn't have to be Thanksgiving to go ham. No. I want to go. Sable, you want to have another go?
Oh, sure.
Ended
I
up
would love
on a
another
lighter
go.
note. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's get lighter. So
Yeah.
shit, Bird, you don't even fucking know. Me and Gavin, we met on the Ham podcast, yo. That's so
Yo.
crazy. That's my podcast. It's called Happy Asian Males. That's right. We never make bail. We don't go to jail. We just nice guys over here, trying to really live life, trying to be the best husband to my wife. Yeah, I talk about that a lot, so I guess it's on my mind. And you know what?
Yep.
This is probably why I just stick to the grind, because I got a friggin' family. They depend on me. I really love them. And then they come back and they love me back. So you know what, Jack? This is how we just got to get the paper to stack, because even though I say happiness isn't all about money, well, shit, money really helps. I love to eat kelp. You know, I love the seaweed. It gives me all the photosynthesis I need in my body. I'm not getting it from the sun, but you know what? I might have to go run because my wife got pretty good buns, but not as good as mine. If you look at my ass, people will just say, yo, you could put a piece of glass on it. And I'm like, yes, you can. I'm skinny, but it's got a big butt. I don't really know why it's so big, but you know what? That's probably why I could just run so freaking quick, because the best track runners got big asses. And you know what? I got a lot of pieces of glasses in my room to just smoke from, because I design vaporizers, the ones that I use on this show. This is just how I get higher. Yeah, here's my favorite one. This is the one I made for my wife. It's just rose gold, and this is why people just love it. It looks so good. It looks really nice, and it hits even better. So this is why you better open up your wallet and give me your cheddar, because Sabo got to eat. I love to eat cheese. And you know what? When it's time to be on one bended knee, well, that's time for me to get married. That was 12 years ago. And you know what? That was the best day of my life outside of my kids being born, yo. So, you know what? I love this rap. And I think it's time for Gavin to start clapping. Let me hand the mic to my left. So what?
Yo, did you have a question, or you got me to just send it?
Oh, no. No question. Just go in it.
No question. No
How do you like to fly,
explanation.
Gavin?
Okay. I got a question from another little bird. How do I want to fly up in this little world? Well, let me tell you, for these final 45 seconds right here, I want to keep on going, but not moving fast like light years, taking it slow as well. Just like the time I went to the beach today, it helped me to really take my own breath away through the vision of nature. This shit was so dope. And I just want to continue that, even when I'm here walking around the block. But I can picture a lot of Flow Masters chapters taken all around the world, even in South Africa, even in Indonesia, even in Norway, and even in Greenway, right? Or Greenland, Iceland. And I see them, and people are just have the principles. Flow's just around the corner. Rally the cipher, you know, like how to acknowledge and validate people in between the flows, like, and teaching them how do you hold the space for people to feel completely themselves in a virtual world, like, and imagine how powerful it is when people are in person. If you can facilitate a space for people to get real and they don't know each other online, and you can get them to feel authentically connected, you are a powerhouse. You know what I mean? So I see Flow Masters chapters and all the facilitators that there will be around the world. They're going to be facilitators of life and true human connection. And that's going to make the world a better place. And that's what I stand for the rest of my life. You know, and right now, it's like Flow Masters, you know what I mean? It's one vehicle for that to happen. So that's what I see, actually. And it's kind of like crystallized a little more that's what I'm here to do, man. I'm here to equip people with the skills to authentically connect to another human being. And Flow Masters is one way to do that. You know? Fuck
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You have the vision. You've got the vision. That's all. It starts with the vision, man. And then you just trust that vision and you believe and you keep going. You keep going, man. I think you got something great here. So that passion that you just spoke with is proof that that's what you're here for, man. So use that feeling to inspire you, even when you're not feeling inspired.
Yes.
Remember that inspiration that just filled you, man. Because man, all you need is that imagination. And if you can imagine it, you can make it real. You really can.
Everything happens twice. And absolutely, thank you, Bird. Thank you, Diana. It's been a while. She's actually from San Francisco near Sable, right? Thank you for supporting it. Vincent, appreciate you for staying on for so long. All the people that tuned in, anybody that rewatches, feel free to write down any questions. I'm going to be having more of these flow sessions, and they're going to continue to evolve. And I know Sable is going to be hopping on another one in time again. I want to have Bird on again, too, you know.
I'd love to.
It's just this is a beautiful thing, and this is a playground, y'all. So I know that a lot of you have creative expressions and things that you have. This is a time where you can let it out. If you have a poem, share it. You know, if you have a video about you doing a jiu-jitsu move and you're a purple belt, share it. You know, if there's a stand-up thing that you wanted to practice and you're afraid, like I'll say, share it. Share it. And you know what? You might get some comments of people that are not going to like it, and that's not the point. It's a validation of your creative expression. And not everybody will like it, nor should they like it, because people have their own preferences. And you know what? Like, one quote that I loved, and I'll end it with, is that I forgot. Somebody said that, like, you know, if anybody says something that rubs you the wrong way, or like is a thing of a hater, it's actually really not a hater. It's not really not a hater. It's just you've exceeded their capacity to understand what you're about. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's and whatever your dream, you share your dream and it doesn't resonate with someone else, that's fine, because it's not theirs. It's not their dream, that's yours. And it's your responsibility to take it. And if you're not willing to shout out your mission, then why should anybody listen? So shout out your mission. Be willing to discover that, you know? And those little people that you may not even know, there might be people here that are never going to comment, they're never going to like anything that I do, but they might silently watch it. I do it for y'all too. You know, and so you're going to be, every time you do this, you're touching people that you'll never, ever know. You'll never, ever know. You're touching people, and that requires faith. Even if there's no evidence looking backwards of what can happen and what you're creating, that faith. And you may not believe it at first, but the more you just bring it in, the auto suggestion of this book, you bring it in, like, you know, like, I'm changing the world. I am changing the world. One Flow Master session at a time. One acknowledgement at a time. One Facebook Live at a time. I am changing the world.
I love that. You know, the thing you said about haters, this rapper, Chief Keef, he does like drill rap, like insane. But he was talking about his haters. And he was like, you know what? I appreciate my haters too. You know why? Because they care. And the idea there is that if a hater hates you, they hate you enough to care about you. So you know what? Cool, I consider you my fan too, because you care. I was like, damn, what a great way to phrase that. That's really cool.
Care comes in many flavors. Yeah. Care comes in many flavors and many sizes and many forms. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Frame. Yeah. So with that being said, we're about to hop off right now. Thank you all for tuning in, and those who have tuned in and those who will tune in, and catch you next time.
Cool.
Thank you, Gavin.
So much,
Thank you, Bird. It's nice to meet you, my friend.
Yeah, dude.